Good evening, everyone, and welcome. It's Wednesday, it's 8 p.m. It must be time for Spiritual Talk TV. Tonight we have another great guest, so kick back and enjoy the show. Hi everyone. Oh, I've come in on the wrong side, Alice. Hang on, I'm just going to move me over. Hang on, how's that?
Just like that.
Just like that, the magic of technology. So Eddie has sussed us out already. What's with the penguins?
Oh, did you like the penguins? Yes.
I love the penguins. It was my idea. So the idea is, guys, so when we press the go live button, what tends to happen is they don't all come on at once, and we've got 8 different locations. It takes a little bit of time. So we thought rather than Alice, I'm always talking over you on the intro, so I thought, you know what, let's do a voiceover and we'll introduce different animals as the weeks goes on. So any suggestions, let us know. But it's good to see everyone here tonight. I'm just going to say a few hellos. First of all, hello Alice, how are you?
I'm absolutely fine. How are you, Paul? How are you getting on?
I'm good. Still suffering with a bit of the heat. I might look like I'm dressed in a suit, but I'm in my shorts. I've got to be honest.
Oh, really? I can't believe that. I don't believe you would do that, Paul.
Yeah, don't even ask. I'm not showing anybody my legs. So
I'm saying nothing. I'm saying nothing. I'm not sitting in my shorts, so I'm saying nothing.
Unfortunately, the mirror behind you, Alice, that Tom put in earlier, is just give it away. You almost looked. Anyway, it's good to see everyone. We got Donna coming on. Hi, Donna. Hi, Marion. Hi, Connie. Hi, and hello, Eddie and Cindy and Dot and Carol and Serena. It's good to see you guys. It's good to see you here. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It is Spiritual Talk TV, and we've got another great guest, haven't we?
We sure have. Yes.
This lady,
yes.
She is absolutely, and she's high energy. And guys, you'll need to strap yourself in. This is going to be lots of fun. Good evening, Claire.
Hello, everybody. How funny. Yeah, I don't slow down. I was once called Speedy Claire. So, yeah, no. Hello, everybody. Claire. And thank you for inviting me on this evening.
Awesome. It's good to see you. And on this hot evening as well. We're all suffering a little bit. So thank you for coming on Spiritual Talk. And I don't know if you've seen the program before, but we always start with the opening question is, how did you get into mediumship?
How did I get into mediumship? Well, I remember I think when I was a kid, I used to see spirit. And I say think because you never know as a kid whether it's real or imaginary. And then I was about 18 and I went to a local psychic fair and there was a medium there and it said to me, you need to go to the dentist, your back tooth up here, you need to go back a mole. If you don't, you're going to need a root canal. This is what your granddad was saying. So I went to the dentist and there I found out it was true. I was like, okay. And then I went to a spiritualist church in the Dagenham area and just saw a medium was just like, I really, really want to be a medium. But that was when I was about 17, 18. And it took me all the way until I was in my 40s. So it's only the last 2 years that I actually believed I could be a medium. I used to do like angel cards and things, but I never believed it because I used to have a feeling. I knew things, but I thought I was just arrogant. And then I went and joined a circle and it was just a basic one, like just learning about psychic stuff. I went to another circle and she went, you're a medium. And I went, no, I'm not. And she went, you are a medium. I was like, no. And I was only in that circle for 6 weeks. And then I started working on sort of my psychic side. So it kind of Spirit kind of opened up when I was ready, the kids were older and everything else. But it's taken me a long time to believe I'm a medium because it's such a subtle thing to have. And now I am. The spirit world can't shut me up, really, can they?
And that's a really interesting point. I don't know about you, Alice, as well. People don't realise that it is quite subtle.
Yes, it is.
And people think we've got a direct telephone. You do have to have a certain level of discipline. And how did you find out when? Because, like I say, you've only been working a few years, but you've hit the ground running, Claire, haven't you?
You're very much so. So yeah. So my first one and my clearest one is like clear cognizance. So it's that horrible one where it's just clear knowing. Like I always describe it as being like downloaded. And it was like, it took me a while to understand that that's not me. And I'm a typical Virgo. I like things just so. So I was like, well, am I this? Am I that? And it took me a while for my chip mentor at the time to say, don't stress out about it. Just go with it. And then I've had another group of mentors that taught me how to do divine service and things like that. But the biggest thing I've had to learn is just trust and say what you say. It really is the catchphrase, say what you see. And now Spirit are working differently. They give me names, they give me dates, they give me all different things now. So, but yeah, basically I did all my mediumship in front of complete strangers. I set my page up back in October 2020 to 253 card readings for feedback. And that was in October. That was like October. And then February 21, it's February 21, I think it was. Yeah, February 21. My friend went, right, you're going to start practicing mediumship. And I did it on Facebook and did it all. I had my mentor in the background supporting me, but I did it all in front of strangers. And that's how my Heavenly Sprinkles community has grown, because there are people there who've watched me from the beginning go up. Then obviously when I got into circles and with divine service and all that jazz. So yeah, I literally have hit the ground running on this, and it's kind of going that way. So I'm not moaning.
Yeah, and sometimes when it happens that quick, it's hard to kind of look back and think, geez, I've come such a long way in such a short time. And some people will think, well, maybe is that too soon? Or, you know, some of the more established people out there, without naming names, I don't want to criticize anybody, but some people believe you've got to sit in circle for 20 years before you go out there and work. Would you agree with that? Obviously you don't, because you're out there working.
No. I do agree. I do agree 100%. What I'm finding at the moment is I'm finding a lot of mediums don't want to learn how to do divine service. They don't want to learn addresses. They don't want to learn opening prayers. And I think at the end of the day, we've moved into a more technological world. There is a place for traditional mediums and there's a place for traditional church mediums, totally, because obviously everybody's different. But there is now a whole entire spiritual community that needs mediums with my type of energy, our type of energy, that can use the internet. I talk to some mediums, they go, you do internet readings? Yeah. How do you connect? Well, I don't need to connect to the individual. I'm chatting to the person up in spirit. I don't need to see that. They don't get that. I think what is a shame is there are a lot of mediums at the moment that aren't learning divine service. They want a show and things like that. And I'm very much like, as much as divine service is scary, and as much as addresses are scary, and as much as doing opening prayers are scary, they are still part of the spiritualist movement.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I've been touch wood. I've met lots of lovely people, and nobody's criticised me for being young. More the speed, and I need to slow down. And I'm like, no, that's not me. I can't slow down. So that's it, really.
But your uniqueness and your energy will bring people towards you anyway, because that's what people need. And again, forgive me for being devil's advocate for those that go to church regularly. Some of our churches in the spiritualist movement there's not many people going. And someone like you walking through the door and bringing that energy and that appeal will hopefully get the younger generation. And I totally agree. I think online is the new church. How do you feel about that, Alice? Do you think that's the same? I know you do a lot of stuff as well online. And 2 years ago, I wouldn't have never said that, but it really is. And I think it's the way forward.
Yeah,
so I think you're very brave.
I think you've got to, have everything for everybody. I don't think you can just, have well, we're just doing church services and I'm not doing anything else. I think everybody has their own part to play in it, you know, and I don't think age should come into it either. You know, if you've got it, and you said you actually wanted to be a medium since you were 18, so the actual seeds, whether you realize it or not, were actually growing way back then, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So someone, oh, sorry.
My opinion.
I'm used to being on my own, remember, with Richard in my ear roll, so I normally could just chat all day.
Someone has asked a question. Sorry, guys, I should have started. Someone has asked a question early doors. Can anyone be a medium? I can't find the question. I'm pretty sure. Oh, can anyone tap into spirit? That's from Cindy.
I think you can. I think there would. The way I describe it to my husband, because my husband asked me why there's so mediums out there, and I said there are different mediums for different people. I said it's like you'll go to a builder and you might need a house built, or you might need a swimming pool built, or you might need a dog kennel built. I think we can all connect and tap into spirit. It's just how strong it is. I mean, I don't know about you two, but I can't connect to my family. My loved ones are around, but I cannot make that connection. So I need another medium to help me to connect to my loved ones. So I think we've all got it personally. I just think maybe the levels of it, and we all need, then everybody needs a different medium to match them as an individual themselves. So I think yes, as it goes along. That's me anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with you on that. Totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, I'm just going to put this link in because we can see you on Facebook as Heavenly Sprinkles, and also you do a lot on TikTok. What's that like, TikTok? Because it's an unknown quantity. Is it that bad?
It's chaotic. I will admit it is absolutely chaotic. Like I have done lives on TikTok, jumped off to come to Facebook and come to my Facebook community to go, oh, the energy is absolutely manic when you do a live. It's brilliant, but it's really, really busy. You need a lot of mods to help you because people jump in and jump out, jump in and jump out. If you get a really lovely quiet day, it's amazing. And I've had some really lovely like TikTok lives. I just haven't got into the swing of it. I will say there is a lot of mediums out there on that TikTok world platform. Some of them are friends. Some of them I know. I watch their Facebook pages and I know them, or I'm like got that lit connection with them. There are a lot of other mediums. I sit there and I go, really? Okay. That sounds more like you're staying in the safety net of mediumship. But I want to grow TikTok and I want to make TikTok better. I'm growing it slowly. But I also think TikTok can be quite judgmental within what you look like and things like that. So yes, I think so.
Lou's just asked if you're Heavenly Sprinkles. Are you known as that on TikTok?
Yes. So I've purposely got Claire Pasterfield for family and life, and then Heavenly Sprinkles is all a mediumship, whether you're on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. I've sort of tickled with Instagram is all the same. So if you want to find me, you find me via Heavenly Sprinkles.
Awesome. Okay, that's interesting because Carol's asked a question as well. Do you think spirit train you as you develop in different ways to see which will suit you best?
I don't want to keep talking. I got an answer for that one.
This is your interview, Claire.
No. Yes, the so-and-sos. They love to change things up with me. They do it more digitally than anything else. They will change things around. They'll start giving me names and they won't give me names. They give me months. They decided on the live to start giving me a years. I was like, really? So yes, I do find spirit or my guides and the universe decides to change things depending on what they want. I mean, I am a direct medium, so I like to go to an individual and say, can I work with you? That's the Virgo in me. So I don't generally do, here is somebody, can somebody take it? But the minute I do that, spirit goes, yes, you do, and they change it. So for me, totally have to go with the flow with whatever them lot up there want. I have threatened them because they were being a bit difficult. They weren't giving me names and people were not taking them. So I turned around and told them, right, if you don't give me names, I'm not going to give them anymore. And then all of a sudden they started giving me names. So I'm realizing that I can be in control sometimes. I'm not allowing them to constantly control me. So yes, and then they like to do it to me differently because it's just for them. I think they have a laugh up there, to be honest. Honestly, I think the guys out and laugh at me most of the time.
They certainly test us, that's for sure. I mean, Alice, I know I've seen you work a lot of times, but I find it really fascinating how people start a contact. For me, it's changed and it changes, and sometimes it can depend on the day or which way the wind's blowing. Do you find that?
Yeah, I do. But spirit's in charge. You know, they're my teachers and they're the ones that's in charge, and I'm working for them. So I will just go with the flow with what I receive from spirit world. And sometimes I just go straight direct and it's just bam, bam, bam. I know exactly where I'm going. Other times I don't. Other times it's just I'm getting all this information, but I'm not sure where I'm going. But I know an area of where I am going to, and I know it's maybe one or two people on that row. It just depends, and I believe it's all to do with the energy of spirit world coming through and your energy as well, as to how strong it's going to be for how it's going to open up. And then once it does open up, it opens up really well, and then it just all flows.
Yeah, it is interesting how that works. But I had one interesting situation recently where is that me or was that a dog barking?
That's the dog. I do apologise. That's George the dog. That's sorry.
There's a dog in here somewhere.
No, he's in the garden, but he's having a moment.
He's sneezing as well, bless him.
Yes, he's sneezing. Now he's rolling on the grass. Not that you really needed to know all of that.
No, absolutely. But I started off recently. I was at a demonstration. They started giving me the first name of the person the message was for. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like this. Because what if there isn't a Sally in here? What if there isn't I know you should trust, and I'm always saying, yeah, I trust absolutely. But that was a test, that one.
Yeah.
That was a test. Yeah, they do tests, and they do try to push you. By the way, Facebook user, you need to change your privacy settings because we don't know who you are, and we'd like to say hello to you because you're saying things like, hi, Carol, and we just don't know who you are. So it's Facebook again. Depends on which way you're coming in to watch and view. But yeah, so have you, I mean, obviously you've had a lot of experience in a very short time. Is there anything that's kind of upset you or found difficult? What challenges have you faced since you've been working?
I had a horrible lesson, but it was a good one. So I was in a spiritualist church centre, and I was doing well. Me and Spirit, we were rocking it. Basically, they were telling me what to say. I was telling them, and I looked over, and there was this guy, and he whispered to this lady, going, "Oh, I hope she don't come to me." And I realised my ego kicked in, and I went, "Right, I'm gonna come to you." And guess what? I did that. Work. And it was the worst reading I've ever given, and I felt awful. I didn't realise at the time. But then I moved on. My mediumship went back because Spirit's going, right, go there, go there, go there, go there. And I was doing that. And the lady who chaired afterwards, and the guys were going, that was amazing, like you done. I think I'd done like 12 or 13 people in the space of an hour and a half. Like, your evidence was brilliant. People could take it. And all I kept thinking about was the one that I went and I learned. It was a good lesson because it taught me, one, don't allow your ego to kick in. That was the first lesson. And two, it taught me that actually I really am being guided by Spirit where to go, because I consciously made a choice to go there. It didn't work out. When I don't consciously and I just get told go there, or when I do lives and I see the names and I'll get the person to stop that person, and they'll either shout at me or they say the person's name, I now realise that's them. But it was my ego, and that was probably the worst. And the other one is when people come to churches, centres or online and they put that block up and they go, no. And what you see is what you get with me. And I really want to put them in their place and say, well, why the heck are you here? And that's the block. And I realised I need to realise that's not my fault. That's that person. I'm not going to ever approve anything to them because they've come in with an expectation. So ego and dealing with no's have been the two hardest things going. Luckily, ego was only once, never again.
But the ego is a funny thing because we have a personality, and there is a level of sensitivity. You know, and you might give 10 great messages, but the one message that you didn't get great, you'll go home thinking about that. You won't think about the 10 that people are going home feeling touched and feeling happy. How do you deal with that? You've just got to deal with it, haven't you?
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. And there is this about mediums being sometimes potentially oversensitive, and this need to kind of help and give. You kind of have to find that balance, don't you? I mean, I'm sitting here saying this, and I've done it myself. You know, I've done it quite a few times when I've given a fairly decent demonstration with a number of readings that have gone well, but there's been one that, you know, had gone wrong or I wasn't happy with, and that's the one I'll go away and think about.
It is hard. It is hard, and I think that's the thing. Most people don't realise that mediumship, we were talking at the beginning, wasn't it? It's so subtle. It's not an obvious thing. Like my eldest sees spirit, and she'll go to me, Mum, there's something through this house. She sees a person standing. I don't see that. I see images, I see words, I hear songs, I sing. Everything is done on such a subtle tone. So you are spending, where I am, every single time I give a reading, I'm doubting myself and I'm going, is this just me making it up? Is this just me making it up? And now I'm like, right, it is really just give what you see, give what you get, and then sometimes a little bit of fingers crossed. But that for me is a lack of confidence, because I have only been doing it for 2 years. I've only been on platform for 2 odd years, and it is partly self-taught. But yeah, I am renowned for beating myself up. I am, and I get a lot of my followers will come back and say, you've been good today, stop it. So I'm very lucky. I've got a lot of support from Heavenly Sprinkles community supporting me. I'm very, very lucky like that. So,
but going out into the public domain, and in some ways spiritualist churches are quite safe in a way, because people that generally go to a spiritualist church, they know what to expect. But when you then take that leap and go into the public and you're doing an evening of demonstration, it's a different energy. You don't have that divine service element to it. To me, I personally find it easier to work in a divine service, because there's this collective intention from everyone to connect to our loved ones. In a demonstration to the public, you'll get the people that have been dragged along because their wives want to bring them along, and they're sitting like, oh, I'm bloody missing football now. This is not on. And you're going to get that negative element to it. And I think for me, that was the biggest part of my learning, not to allow. And I find most men seem to be quite difficult. And again, I remember doing a demonstration in lockdown. Before lockdown, before I get into trouble. And it was a charity evening, and there was something like 10 men there out of 100 people, and the rest were women. But I went to at least 8 men with messages. And I thought, like, there's something about me that's trying to prove this, maybe, that I'm a medium. And I'm trying to prove it to these men that don't believe, that have problems and doubt. So there's me. I'm a Virgo, by the way, and I am a bit. So I know it can be a bit of a cost to bear. What are you, Alice, by the way?
I'm a Libra.
Are you? What about balance, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I can never make my mind up.
Yeah.
And then when I do make my mind up, then I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not. My ex-wife's a Libra. I'm not saying nothing, Alice. I'm not saying nothing. Here's a lovely comment from Stephanie. Actually, she said, "Evening. I actually come across Claire a couple of months ago, and watched a couple of lives. I find all this so interesting." That's lovely.
Yeah, I think for me the hardest one, digitally, is the people that come in and want to pull you apart and want to call you a scammer. Now, all my lives, I vowed at the beginning, and I'll never go back on it. Any live I do is always free, whether I'm on SPTV, like Hear Yourselves, my own page, 2 groups, TikTok. I don't ask for a single penny. I tell everybody off if they give me a gift. I'm like, don't you dare. And then I'll get the people that will jump on because Facebook has decided to share it out to the algorithm, whatever. And I'll get, you're a con woman. Yeah. You're taking advantage of people. How very dare you? You're disgusting. And TikTok is worse for that than Facebook at the moment. And that's what shies me, because I've got everybody telling me ignore the trolls. But I'm sitting there thinking, I'm doing this because I love what I do. It is my passion. It's my divine following. I'm not asking for any money. These people are happy because I'm giving weird, strong evidence, yet you want to pull me apart. And I find that's the dark side digitally and luckily, touch wood, Facebook's not too bad. TikTok isn't very good for that. They will pull you apart.
The only downside I've found with a lot of mediums that we've interviewed, and it's not just because they've been on Spiritual Talk, but a lot of them are being attacked online. Their accounts are being hacked, and it comes from different parts of the world where culturally their belief systems are different. So maybe there's a different intention, or they're just literally scammers. But I know Spiritual Talk, up until recently, every Wednesday night there was a gentleman in an Asian country that was saying that we were using the music from his program, which is everything that we use is available on the Pro on Canva, so it's all free to the public domain. There's no license required. So it was just, but that again is that negative out there, and people have different belief systems. But I guess, again, it's that part of me that thinks, well, just trust in spirit. But you've also got to be a bit aware of that as well, that you're always going to have that negative side to societies and culture, and people are going to attack us. And it's me doing Spiritual Talk, and I never would have dreamed of doing this 2 years ago. I don't know about you, Alice. When did you come into doing online? Because you've been going a couple of years online, Alice, haven't you?
Well, I went online when COVID started, and I thought, well, I've got to help in a different way, because you can come now to Tobacco Light Spiritual Centre, and that's where people were coming. And I thought, there's people now, if not even more, needing that guidance and help and support, and not to be on their own. So I started it online, and then from there, I have continued it, even though the centre is back open again. I have continued it because I feel there's so many people that can't come to a church or centre, whether there's a disability, or even if it's to do with lack of money, or transport or whatever, and then they're missing out on that. And I don't think that's right. I think it should be for everybody. And I think that was one of the main reasons I continued with it. And then obviously then the door opened for me to come on to the show with Paul. And I'm still trying to get my podcast sorted.
Yeah, we're doing that. But again, a part of what we're trying to create with Spiritual Talk TV, we're going to have other people contributing. We're going to have a podcast. Well, you're going to have a podcast, Alice, as well. And I can't wait for that, because you've done the interview already. We just got to work out.
I've done I've done all the advertising of it. I've done all the creative art for it, etc.
Yeah.
But see, piecing it all together is a nightmare. It is a nightmare.
Yeah, but once, it's like anything, it's the same with spiritual. Once you kind of get into that rhythm, it comes, and that's why I find what you're doing, Claire, is really great. And I can't applaud you enough. Again, it's difficult, isn't it, when you come across? I've come across stuff on TikTok where there was, and I've used this story before, where a lady in America was using a pendulum, and a woman asked her, "Is my husband cheating?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, he's cheating on a pendulum." Now, in my head, I'm sitting there. She's sitting on the porch with a shotgun, waiting for me to come up. Yeah. Oh my God. So it still has to be a level of responsibility in what we say and do, and
Yes.
there has to be that kind of responsibility with what we do. But yeah, so I kind of got this idea with TikTok that it can be a minefield. So I do applaud you for giving it a go and being attacked by the trolls, etc. I know another well-known medium that's got a massive following. He'll just sit on the, and when he does his live, sit on the couch. And if you're listening, hi, I'm just gonna say it, Marcus, if you're listening, hello, mate. Just tell him to do one. He just don't care. On lives, he'll tell him to do one. So
the funny thing is, on TikTok, I would. In TikTok, I'm even more Essex than normal. So in TikTok, the swear words will pop out.
So
on Facebook,
can I wind you up, Claire? Do we need to decipher Essex? Go on, give us a proper interpretation of how proper Essex is. How deep does the Essex go?
If you're done in Essex, the swear words just come in as normal vocabulary. So
right.
I've got a friend up in Wigan who's taken a work colleague, and she's taken her a long time to realise that you just use the F word as part of your normal vocabulary. So the F word gets used quite regularly. Like, now I try to be good and not drop my H's or my T's. So I must admit, sometimes I'm like, oh my days. And I find with the Essex side of it, we are a little bit more, you say it how it is. I find when I'm with family, my accent gets stronger. And I do like it with Spirit, because what Spirit will do is they will use my accent. And if my accent gets really strong and I start going, all right, how you doing, love? You all right? Lovely. And all of that. And it goes proper bad, then I will know that's my sign to recognise that somebody in Spirit had a strong local accent. So I don't always say like a Londony, Essexy accent. I will say like a strong local accent, because I notice my accent gets stronger. So then the letters get dropped and everything else. So I don't wear, well, I was going to say I don't wear white shoes, but I have got a pair of white shoes. So yeah, okay, maybe it is a bit there. But yeah, I like it. It is what it is. But what you were saying about standards, like I went through a period where a lot of people who took their own lives came to me, and I realised why through past experiences with family members. But I will never say I'm alive. Somebody's took their life. Spirit will make sure the person in Spirit is telling me, but I'm thinking we're on a digital platform, and this is the thing I've always remembered, and I see a lot of mediums that don't. That we are on a digital platform. Doesn't matter if you've got 5 people, 20 people, 100, 250 people, whatever it is. We don't always want to broadcast what's going on. So if I ever have somebody that's took their life, I won't skirt around it, but I will make a point. And if the individual in the TikTok comments says, yes, my brother took their own life, fair enough. And it's the same with things like Alzheimer's, saying things with depression. I'm very, very careful. Oh, and babies that obviously little ones that have not touched the earth, very, very aware of it. And I've seen too many mediums recently that will just go, you didn't kill the baby. And I'm like, what? So I think that's the sad thing. And this is why I think going to circles, even if you go for a little while, is important, because it teaches you the ethics of it. And I think there's too many mediums at the moment which are going out there, which is why I can understand the old school mediums thinking young school mediums are like unethical, because some of the young mediums aren't learning the standards that have got to go. So yeah. So
but you have had some really strong influences, some really good mediums. I do know that.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you don't even get feedback like that. Oh, thank you.
but that does, I mean, you know, I still think you're brave for going on TikTok anyway. I'll take my hat off to you. It is a brave new world out there. I mean, I'm just about dipping my toe into YouTube as well, and that's a whole nother platform, you know. But we're able to reach so many people, and I think that's the point. We can bring the light to so many people, and hopefully they can. I've got loads of comments here. There was something that Carol made a really good point earlier. Hi, Carol. she says she gets a lot of messages that I feel are correct when she's doing readings or giving a message. But there'll be one part of that message. The person, I know they should get checked back in that family. But why does spirit do that?
Because I think for me, spirit give you the weird ones that don't make sense for you to be able to take away something for somebody. And I think spirit is really, really clever at that, because yes, something might not make sense, or it doesn't resonate, or a name or something like that. It's about giving you, I feel like I always say, put in your spiritual shopping bag to take away with you, to sort of continue for you growing. Now, spirit for me love to give me stupid, pointless things, but it's the pointless things which are the golden nuggets of truth for spirit. And I do also think sometimes, and I've been there, where I've had a medium, I've had people come in spirit, and I've read and I'm thinking, I've got 3-4 different people coming in. So sometimes I find spirit, you're not dealing with one person, and if the family's blended, that makes it even harder. So I think it's about the individual taking, or it's my belief, it's taking it away with them, for them to learn a little bit more about their family or things later down the line. Names are the main case, I find it always seems to happen.
Yeah, and I think it's a level of what better evidence can you get? The one that the piece of evidence that you don't understand, you can go away and you ask someone and go, oh yeah, that was mum's favorite place, or you know. So, and I think there's a level of that. Yeah, thank you, Alex. Zoom code is definitely up, guys, if you can see that. We are doing messages later. Serena, hi Serena, she's put, I love it. I also have white shoes, and I'm also from Essex.
Yeah, we are a little bit of you poor people. You have to put up with us.
A Facebook user has asked, how long can you work before your energy starts to drain?
Well, when I first started, I tried to do 2 hours, and it got weaker and weaker. I can generally go for about an hour and a half without much problems. But what I do is I put a caveat and say, look, if you want me to push myself, by all means, but then you're going to get a pants reading, basically. So I have done my own very show. One of the local pubs, which was really lovely. It was called the Half Moon. Like, of all the names, they allowed me to do my own show in there. And I was in there for 3 hours, but I'd like a 20-minute break in between there. So I can generally go for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. But by the time I get to about 2 hours, I get tired. And people know, I even have people in lives going, Claire, you're getting tired, because my energy comes down. I slow down. So even my viewers will know, Claire, you need to stop now, girl. You've knackered yourself out, basically. So yeah, about an hour and a half to 2 hours max for me. I would, and that's why I'm not great at one-to-one readings on a big mind, body, and soul event, because I need to move. As you can see, I'm a bit buzzy anyway, so I need that movement.
How about you, Alice? I think that's a great question. I'm going to answer that as well. I'll have a go at that. How about you? How long does your power last for? Can you do an all-day mind, body, soul kind of event?
Well, yes, I can, but I'd have to have breaks in between. I'd have to have breaks. I don't do a lot of mind, body, soul events, though.
Me too.
I think I've only done 2. I think I've only done about 2. But if I have any events at my own place, then it would be about I would have to have a break. You know, if I was doing an hour, then I would be exhausted. I'd have to have maybe half an hour break before maybe I did another hour. I'm talking about private readings. You know, my private readings are an hour. So if I do 1 hour private reading, then I'll make sure I'm not doing another private reading until the afternoon, you know, or another one until the evening. I've got to space it out. But if it's an actual demonstration as such, yes, I can do an hour to an hour and a half. Yeah. But I wouldn't do any more than that, because I wouldn't be given the quality that I know that they deserve.
Yeah. Jewel of the Moon. Yes, when Alice read for me, she brought up a tapestry and I drew a blank on it till a bit later and it clicked. So I sent her the picture.
That's right.
And I think that's great evidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, see, someone's put here, sorry, Facebook user. I'm not sure. This could be Emma. I'm not sure. Being common and sounding common is unique. See, I think I'm going to say being authentic is unique. Being yourself and being okay to be yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Yeah.
there is this. I think sometimes we can have a snobbery around how we sound. I mean, to be honest, I don't even like the sound of my own voice, and that sounds a bit silly to say. I listen to that sometimes, and I'm like, oh, is that me?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So even
many times have I done a rewind on that podcast.
Yeah, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say anything. But we'll get it. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Other people are like, yeah, no, it's great, but you're like, no, it's not. No. But do you know? I love this. I've got to be honest. I've got a bit of a thing about Scottish accents, and my partner will be sitting there going, "Do not do your Scottish accent because Alice will hit you with her handbag." So my friend used to talk like this, and he was from Glasgow, and he'd say, I'm I'm Scottish," like that, and he'd kind of like drag that word out, and I'm just embarrassing myself.
Different accents though for different places.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you go over, to like West Lothian side, that's I ken this and I ken that. They kind of have a wee bit of a high pitch that talks like that. I'll get mocked for this. They'll be like,
and the word "we," a little bit of "we." Where'd that come from?
Yeah. We always say that. Yeah, we always say we. Yeah.
See, and then we got the Norfolk slant. So I've been here now 12 years, and I'm starting to pick up Norfolk slang, like bear or beer is not bear, it's beer. And sometimes I'll say bear. Do you want a bear? No, it's beer. So they're it's almost like a lazy pronunciation.
It's beer though.
No, but wait, the Norfolk in Norfolk they call it bear. Do you want a bear?
Do you want a bear? Oh yeah, I want a bear.
Who'd have thought it as well? Let's do things like who'd have thought it? Sorry, what? What is that? What are you trying to say? So I love the language in the UK. We're such a small island where we have such a diversity to, and yeah, someone's put, I love the Irish accent. Absolutely.
Yeah, I do as well.
So absolutely.
See, what's really funny, down in Essex, in the Londony part, we go grass, bath. We say, even like my surname, I will go Claire Pasterfield. It's half past. So I will have a really strong Londony accent, and then I'll go, it's 3:30. Are you going to have a bath? And I've got a friend that's a Brummie that goes, it's bath, it's grass in your Pasterfield. So it's really funny, even though I've got my Essex accent and it's strong, and I've got that London influence because I've originally come from Romford, I'll go, the grass needs watering, and I'm not allowed to drop my tea in water. I have to say water. I'm not allowed to say water. So it's funny, even then, like I said, even with my accent, there are times when I'm like, oh, hello. And then I get told I've got a telephone voice, but that's because of where I work. But so I'm still posh because I say grass, bath, and past.
I just think it's about being who you are, about being genuine. And I think that's all that matters. And be proud from where you're from. Yeah.
What's coming up for Claire? Sorry, Paul. Sorry.
Go on.
What's coming up for you, Paul? Claire. What's coming up for you? What are you going to be doing now? What's happening?
So I've this year has been a bit better. This year I've kind of now really worked out what spiritualist churches and centres that I'm really comfortable with, because you all know you have different environments. What you were saying, Paul, about people coming in more, the spiritualist churches are and this feels egotistical, and it isn't, it's just a fact. The spiritualist churches went, we love when you come, Claire, because as you said, all of a sudden they might only have 2-3 people come in. I come in, next thing they're going to me, there's 20-30 people that will never come to church before because they've sort of know about me on my page. So for me, it's kind of potter around doing the centres and churches in and around the Essex area. I only ever do about 40 odd minutes from where I live. Continue to grow my page. As you said, Alice, it's like reaching out to people that can't can't get to me, or they can't get to a church or a centre, or even they find divine service like way out of their comfort zone. It's taken me a long time to become comfortable with divine service because it's a Christian church and I'm not a Christian, I'm a pagan. So for me, I had that little being out of it kind of thing. Same with opening prayers. I don't like the idea of doing an opening prayer, but that's just my belief system. So for me, it's more, I really, really want to build up my page, build up TikTok, and continue serving spirit whilst being a mum and a cat mum and a cat dog and a wife and work.
I'm exhausted, frankly. Or your day. You have a lot to do. Being a parent in itself is hard work.
Yeah.
Being a parent, being at work, having a job, and having a partner to look after. Sorry, men. Ladies do tend to look after us. And then you're being a medium as well, and fitting all that in.
Yeah.
It's clearly a labour of love for you. But if you could go back to the beginning, is there anything you would change in your journey?
If I could go back, okay. The spiritual world can be a bit of a funny old group of people. So I think a couple of times I would probably learn to hold my counsel a bit better. Not that I've touched wood, not that I've ever been burnt, but I was gobsmacked how the spiritual world isn't spiritual at times. And I'm sorry, because we're not. There are a massive group.
It's all right. We'll do the retake. We'll do this as a little voiceover with some music.
But the spiritual world isn't always spiritual. At the end of that's what we were talking about at the beginning with egos, weren't we? We were talking about ego. Sorry, I'm saying how it is. And I think I've realised that shocked me. I thought everybody was love and light, and they weren't. And I wish I'd met me and said, be warned, you're going to deal with jealousy, you're going to deal with people putting you down, and you're going to deal with people who will talk behind your back and will go, oh, no, as you say, older ones. So my biggest one would be to be able to tell myself that not everybody is love and light in the spiritual world, but it is a small fraction. And I'm really lucky. I've got a brilliant, fantastic online group, and all the churches and centres I work, they're all adopting me. So that's all right then. But yeah, the spiritual world isn't necessarily the most spiritual at times.
And I've got to be honest, I've said that as well. And I have actually said that. You're not on it alone. But to bring some kind of balance to this, I would say there's equally a really good amount of good mediums and good people. And I will quote Tony Stockwell. I remember seeing him at the college, and he was talking about you just can't get enough of really good mediums. And I thought is absolutely true. Is absolutely true. And if everyone had that philosophy, and you touched on that earlier about there's different mediums for different roles and different ways of working, and I think you're absolutely bang on with that. And I think, and Tony's saying that as well, there is different mediums for different things, and for different people. And I think that's absolutely for me really important to acknowledge that there's some really good people out there as well. But how do you avoid the pitfalls of those that are not so dark? I guess it's trying to keep counsel, isn't it? And trying to keep yourself on that straight and narrow and learn the lessons. And we interviewed a wonderful lady, Minister Simone Key. I'm gonna get shot for getting her name wrong. And she said along her journey, and her honesty really stood out for me. She said she'd made every mistake in the book, and there's also got to be another level. And I guess this is going to feed into another question I want to ask you. You said you were a pagan, okay, but in terms of your spirituality, where are you at that stage of your development? Because I believe that they both run or should run concurrently at the same time.
Yes.
How have you found that?
It took me a long time, because when I was more of a pagan than I was a spiritualist. And at first, I was a bit like, well, can a pagan be a spiritualist? Can a spiritualist be a pagan? And then my brother went to me, but paganism is an umbrella. You don't have to have a label. And it's the same if you go down the route of Wicca and things like that and such like. You don't have to be, I am a X, Y, and Z. And so I just went, well, I'm a spiritualist pagan. I believe in spirit. I believe in energies. I believe in a male and female divine. I do believe you can't have one without the other. I believe the world is full of energy. That all fits within a pagan belief system. I believe that how our paganism is at the end of the day is our folk religion, or a folk belief system. So that gets weaved in. And we all believe in spiritually anyway. So for me, they intertwine nicely and they work nicely, but it took me a while to understand it was okay to blend them together, whereas you've got others will go, no, you're a pagan, you're a spiritualist, or you're a Wicca, you're a Druid, or you're this or you're that and everything else. But I think now again, we as a spiritualist community, we're changing and we're embracing, and that is what's good about TikTok. It is encouraging people to not label themselves. It's encouraging people to believe. If they want to believe in a Wiccan faith, they can believe in a Wiccan faith. If they want to believe in Christianity, that's fine, or Judaism. At the end of the day, we all believe that there is spirit. We all believe that that we move over and we move into a different life. It's just how we classify it as human beings. For me, it's easier for me to visualize gods, goddesses, divine energy, and spiritual energy, and then just see people who passed over, and then just kind of go with the flow. I hope that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never had any religious programming as a child. I came into spirit not sure what I believed, and it's only through working with spirit that I found that spiritual side of myself. But I think it's a really important journey that that some mediums can neglect, which is where I think we can then fall out. And then coming back to what we said about that, having that, there's a lot of darkness within the spiritual movement. And when I say darkness, people that are not so spiritual, because probably they don't understand that process. I'm not sure, but this is where understanding we're all on these different levels. So we're all learning. It's really difficult, but yeah. So sorry, Alice, go on. You're about to say something.
Yeah, it's like finding your own tribe, and you will find your own tribe. You know, the tribe that sticks with you.
Yeah.
We did go through a few mothballs before that.
Yeah. So SPTV.
Yes.
How's that going? So
I
it's
think
spiritual. Yeah, spiritual and psychic. For those who don't know what SPTV is, spiritual and psychic TV. And you've been doing lives on there. How's that going?
Oh, well, I think Richard's bonkers for inviting me along. I'm really lucky because I had Bill Hughes who asked me along. He'd seen me in one of the groups, and then Bill asked me to come along. And then Bill and I had a really good banter, and Richard and I had good banter. And basically, we just got along really well. And then that's when he asked me, did I want to come and do the odd Wednesdays here or there? And then he must have had a flip of sanity or something to be asking me, do I want my show fortnightly? And I was like, yeah, all right then. So yeah, I enjoy working with SPTV because again, they've got the same as yourselves, got the same ethos. They've got the same ethos as me, with it being free, offering work and not on in stars and donations and all that jazz. I actually enjoy working with Richard as well because we just take the mickey out of each other all the time. But he's also helped me grow as well. Like I know somebody commented about my singing, and how dare you? I do sing a lot.
I didn't put it out for you.
Yes. But what Richard said to me, and again, I think spirits guided me to help because Richard is really good because he went, you might not be looking at the singing, you might be looking at who sang the song. So it might be, if it, for example, on Michael Jackson, it might not be you need the Michael Jackson song, you need the name Michael or Jack, or look at the year. So I found that Richard has really helped me learn and expand that. And yeah, I just like taking the mickey out of me, and he takes the mickey out of me, and I take the mickey out of him. So I do thoroughly enjoy it. And it's lovely because last week I went on live, and next thing I know, I get a WhatsApp message from him going, "How dare you go live when I'm live?" But it was so lovely because I gave SPTV a shout out on my page, and then lovely Bill and Glenda Marie, who's on there, gave me a shout out. So I was saying to people on both pages, we were like, pop over to see each other. So it's lovely because we work in collaboration, and Rich said he'd come over and he said he could see SPTV names and vice versa. So it is an honour and a pleasure to be asked. He drives me bonkers, but it's a really good laugh at the same time.
Yeah, because you've got a friend of the show, Nick, on there, Rev Nick.
Yes, Nick, lovely Nick. Yes.
Yeah, he's helped us down here. Yeah,
yes.
He's helped us down here. So yeah, it's good to see. And it's good to see that like you said, it's free, it's informative, there's some good stuff on there. I should also say that Nick does another thing he does on his own, the two revs. He does the philosophy.
Yes.
On Friday afternoon. That's always good to jump in on that, guys. If you're free on a Friday afternoon, always good. Check him out. So Claire, honestly, we've lost an hour already, nearly.
I know.
So I know we briefly spoke about what's coming up next for you, but is there anything else you'd like to do, or is it anything? How about you as developing yourself? I mean, I always think if you're working, you're constantly learning and developing anyway.
Yeah. She says, I would love to do more shows. However, there are again loads of people with the mediums that I'm seeing that are doing a lot of shows, and I'm not somebody to pump it. I'm like, you know what? You want to come to the show or you don't want to come to the show. So I'm not, I would say not advertising. Do you know what I mean? I have been asked to go and do a podcast. So that I've been asked to do that. So that's really, really exciting. And I am just kind of plodding along. On the spiritual side, those who watch me know I say this all the time. I'd like Spirit to tell me which side of the house when they say they give me a name. Because the amount of people go to me, what, here or in spirit? So I would like Spirit to tell me when they give me a name, what side of the house are we talking about? That's that one. And I would like for Spirit to sort of, and I know it's a case of me sitting down and asking, if you're giving me a month, tell me what it is. Let's not do the generic birthday party and anniversary. Let's do this, because I am so strong on evidential. And I don't mean I'm strong evidential. What I mean is I'm so strong in wanting to give evidential things. And if I can be more specific, that would be like amazing. So everybody hears me on the page going, I know I need to meditate. But what I have been doing is I've been listening to ASMR on TikTok, which is lovely. And that's all about stress plucking and things like that. So that's another story. So that is my meditation at the moment. So really, can Spirit start giving me a bit more specific details and just allow me to have as many opportunities like what you gave me here tonight. So having opportunities here, really. Well,
it's been amazing. And your energy is really, I've just got my head stuck in Spirit then, because I'm about to work soon. But it's really infectious, is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you.
And it's been an absolute pleasure. Before you go, though, can you pick a winner for us? Can you see the comments on the right hand side?
I can.
Well, before we do that, though, guys, we don't know if you've shared, so we need to know if you've shared. So just pop a little message in to say if you've shared. Or Carol said she's shared. Eddie shared. Christy has shared, and Stephanie has shared. Eva has shared. Hannah Jackson has shared.
Serena.
Oh, did I say Serena? I missed Serena.
No, I've just seen Serena shared.
Oh yeah, sorry, I missed that one.
Well,
I don't know. Can you see these, Alice, on here? You can see them on there because I don't know if you can see them. Oh, okay, brilliant.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's how I know Serena shared.
Oh.
Well, Spirit shout, as they always do when I'm on live, they shouted at the name. So there's clearly somebody in Spirit that wants to make a communication, because I just shouted the lady's name as I walked past. So if you would let me, please, I'd like to pick Hannah Jackson, because Spirit went, Hannah, as she passed me. So I would like to come and say Hannah Jackson, because clearly somebody in spirit. And as you say, I never fully closed down, and I've already got their lovely people's loved ones already starting to hang around me. And I know Hannah's family did shout at me, so I'm doing what spirit tells me to do, and I get told off.
Congratulations, Hannah. I'm not going to sing
Yeah.
this really bad, but awesome.
Doing it this week. So,
yeah, I do know Hannah. I think I know Hannah. I think
so Hannah, if you can contact me through Sparkle Light Spiritual Centre page or Alice Psychic Medium page, and we'll get that arranged for you for your free 30-minute private reading. Okay.
Awesome. I was going to actually say one thing before I go. Do you get that, Alice? Do you know if they're here or there?
Sometimes. What do you mean?
So if someone says, "Oh, give me the name Claire," forgive me, Claire, for using your name. You're still
give me
the name Claire, and they normally talk about loved ones. But when I get it, instantly I get a feeling if they're on planet Earth.
Yeah.
It's strange, isn't it?
Sometimes they'll come through and they'll say, "Hi, I'm Claire." You know, other times I'll just hear the name getting shouted out, but I get the pull of whether it's from spirit world or whether I'm getting pulled to the person in the audience or someone that I've just brought through from spirit world connecting with that person. You just know, you just kind of know. But there is other situations where you kind of, you're like, this is a bit bitty, and I just ask them to draw closer to me to try and get it a little bit stronger, you know. Yeah.
The other thing is, guys, do you know the difference with because I've also found this is changing when someone has just passed. Do you feel the difference with someone who's just passed or someone who's been in spirit for a long time?
Yeah.
And have you found I've been finding the level of communication is slightly different if they've just gone over?
Yeah, it's very different. It's light. It's very light.
It's lighter. Absolutely. It's almost like they're getting used to the communication.
Very, very light. Yeah. Do you know, I had someone, I've only had it once, someone come through to me and I wasn't aware of this at all. And the person wasn't even buried yet. It was still in the morgue. I didn't know that. Now, had I had known that, I might have pulled out my power a little bit, but I had not a clue. And I came out with all the information about this young man and everything, and it wasn't until the very end, and she came up and said, "I didn't want to say to you," she says, "but you were absolutely right," she says, "but he's still in the morgue," she says, "you actually only passed away," she said, "yesterday, and we've not even arranged, but what you said is actually getting arranged, and what you mentioned about the song, we were discussing about that song, and that blew me away. That actually blew me away. I thought, oh my goodness, I can't believe that. You know, I've never had it since. You know, but that's
very unusual. That's very. I guess it depends on the person, the need of the person. Yeah, that's very unusual. Once I had it where someone was in a coma.
Yeah.
And I felt that confused me a little, but I was told they're in a coma, but they are very expected to pass. They were only 6 stone. So okay, and I was getting information from that person. I'm not sure how people feel about that, but that was an interesting one. But Claire, it's been absolutely amazing. We're about to go into Zoom. Obviously, you're welcome, but we know you're busy, Mum. We know it's been. Thank you for being a guest on here.
You're more than welcome.
I might come in for half an hour. Hubby's on nights, but I might pop in for half an hour and just be nosy. And a massive thank you to you two for both saying, "Do you want to come along?" I was like, "Yeah, all right then." So thank you so much.
Can I also say, if your kids are listening, you've got half an hour to get up to as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So we're now going to go over onto Zoom, guys. You can see the Zoom ID there. But it's time to say goodnight, everyone, and we'll see you this time next week.
Good night.
Take care, everybody. Bye. 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 Bye.